Hi there, my name's Naira, and in today's prenatal yoga video I'm going to show you some poses to help you develop and maintain good posture throughout pregnancy so that you have the strength to support your growing belly, the growing weight in the front of the body, and also so that you can minimize back pain. So let's start standing up in Tadasana, which is mountain pose. We're going to do it against the wall, which is pretty much the best way to practice this during pregnancy so that you can really feel what's happening. So starting from the bottom, feet are hip width apart, parallel, toes pointing forward, heels in contact with the wall, and really spread your toes. You can lift all 10 toes, place them back down and spread the weight evenly through the feet, trying to ground through the big toes while lifting through the arches of the feet. Our feet are going to carry a lot of weight through the whole of pregnancy, so it's really good to start with these strong foundations. You can have soft knees, even a very, very slight bend in the knees. No need, absolutely no need to lock through the knees. And then moving through to the tailbone, lightly engage the glutes and tuck the tailbone under. So it's a movement almost of also drawing the pubic bone towards the navel. That way the tailbone is nice and long, you haven't got that curve through the lower back. And then moving higher, grow tall through the crown of the head, and at the same time, roll the shoulders down and back so that you can feel both shoulder blades in contact with the wall. And then finally energizing through the fingertips. That's also going to allow the shoulders to drop away from the ears. So you want a nice long neck, chin parallel to the floor. So not lifting the chin, not tucking it, just having it nicely parallel to the floor, looking straight ahead, opening through the chest. So drawing the shoulder blades down the back and also together. And you can just stay here for a few breaths, making sure to keep the glutes engaged, tailbone tucked under, arches of the feet lifted, shoulder blades down and back, shoulders away from the ears. And you might notice when you're standing like this as well, with the chest open, that it actually allows you to breathe more freely, creates a bit more space in the front of the body, helps you find a sense of grounding, stability, focus. Stay here as long as you like so that you can really feel the points of contact with the wall in a way that you create that muscle memory in your body so that when you're standing away from the wall, you can find this same standing position again as if the wall was behind you. And when you're ready, the next posture is going to involve a chair, but I just want to show you Tadasana against this other wall, just so that you can see what it looks like from the side. So I'm not going to spend long here, but just so you can see, the feet are grounded, my heels are against the wall, and then I'm engaging the glutes. So this would be the arching of the lower back, which happens very, very often in pregnancy, completely normal with the weight of the belly, creating that movement. You want to engage the glutes, tuck the tailbone under so you get that length through the lower back. And then rolling the shoulders down and back. So these are shoulders rolled forward, rolling them down and back so the shoulder blades are in contact with the wall. So that's it, exactly the same pose, just from a different angle. And now we move on to Parshvottanasana, which is known as intense side stretch. Now it's not going to be intense because we're doing a prenatal version. So stand with your feet about hip width apart, but basically you want them to be a distance so that both hip bones are facing forward. So you're not turned to either side, both hip bones are facing forward. Let's start with the right leg in front. The foot is absolutely straight, parallel. The back leg, or the back foot rather, the left foot, is at a 45-degree angle. So you've got the foot turned out. So front foot facing forward, back foot at 45 degrees. Remember, both hip bones facing forward. From here, you can bend one or both knees, and all you're going to do is place your hands on the chair in front of you. So bring it to a distance where you can place the hands comfortably and your back is long and straight. So you haven't got a rounding of the back, you haven't got an arching, it's just long and straight. Again here, correct the hips. So you might need to draw the right hip bone back slightly, the left forward, so that you're keeping both hips facing forward. Pay attention to the feet. You've got the heels and the soles of the feet, the balls of the feet in contact with the floor, but keeping the arches lifted just like you did in the previous pose. You can engage the front of the thighs, the quadriceps, to lift out of the kneecaps so you're not dumping into the knees. And you can also have your knees soft and slightly bent, because what we don't want is to lock out the knees and put any pressure on those joints. And from here, you simply stay here. Look at the mat. So the back of the neck is long. Palms are directly underneath the shoulders on the chair, and create that same movement that you created in the previous pose, where you're drawing the shoulders away from the ears and you're drawing the shoulder blades together at the back of the body. So you should actually feel some engagement through your back and maybe even a slight opening through the chest. What we always want to work on in prenatal yoga, and to be honest, in yoga in general and even in life, is opening through the chest and strengthening through the back, so that we undo that habitual movement of having our shoulders slumped forward. Breathing here. Drawing the crown of the head forward, so you're really active in this pose, really finding a long, long back from the tailbone through to the crown of the head. And then bend the knees, slowly come up, and we do exactly the same on the other side. So left foot facing forward, right foot 45 degrees. Both hip bones facing forward. Again, feet roughly hip distance apart, but it's really about being in a position where you can get both hip bones to face forward. Bend the knees, place the hands on the chair in front of you. And from here, again, we can start with the feet this time. Keep the big toes grounded, but lift through the arches of the feet. Knees can have a soft bend in them, and then maybe you need to slowly and gently draw the left hip back slightly, the right hip forward, so that your hips are squared. And then long through the back of the neck, looking at the mat. Tailbone drawing back, crown of the head drawing forward. And then drawing the shoulder blades together at the back of the body, opening through the chest. This pose can also be an opener for the hamstrings. So you might be feeling a little bit of a stretch through the backs of the legs, and that's fine. You might want to bend the left knee, the front knee slightly if it gets too intense. But rather than focusing on the hamstrings here, what we're really focusing on is strengthening and lengthening through the back, opening through the chest. And this pose also has the benefits of calming the mind, a lot like the previous pose, Tadasana, bringing focus. Can also be beneficial for digestion. Just let the belly go. You can let the baby rest as if it's in a hammock as you're working through the back body. And then bend both knees and slowly come up. We can move the chair out of the way. We're done with that for now. And then the final pose will come to a seated position. So you need 2 or 4 blocks for this. One block might actually be fine, and you can use cushions for the other blocks. I just need to put 2 blocks together because otherwise my butt's basically too big for just the one block. But I've got my 2 blocks here just so that I feel nicely supported, and we're coming into Dandasana. So extremely simple, but sometimes it's the most simple poses in yoga, in the physical practice of yoga, that really allow you to gain awareness of certain body parts and really work on them and strengthen them, particularly at the level of small muscles that we don't always focus on if we're doing big movements with lots of momentum. So here, just sit on your blocks, pull the fleshy bits of your bum away from the sit bones so that you're really on the bones, the sitting bones. And that also means you'll be putting your feet in front of you like this. That also means that you're not curving through the lower back. I mean, that actually just feels really horrible on my stomach as well. But you're sitting forward on that part of the bum where the bottom of the bum meets the top of the hamstrings. So really on the sit bones. Just find a comfortable spot on your block or blocks. And then your legs are straight out and you flex the feet. The knees don't need to be locked out again. You can have them slightly bent. And what we're focusing on again is the back. So I find it more comfortable putting some blocks down. You can put your hands on cushions, on books, whatever works for you. Or you can even place them directly on the mat if you've got long arms. I haven't, so I find it easier with blocks. And you want to place your hands in a position where you can really roll the shoulders down and back. So it's the same movement that we were doing in Tadasana, the first pose. And you're really growing through the crown of the head and basically avoiding having too much of an arch or a rounding in the lower back. You just want the whole back to be nice and straight. Shoulder blades drawing together, shoulders away from the ears, chin parallel to the floor. And this looks, if you're not practicing it, if you're just watching someone, like we're really doing nothing, we're just sitting here, but actually it's a really active pose. I can feel all my back muscles working. I can feel the front of my thighs working because I've got them engaged and I've got my feet flexed. So to be honest, I can't actually hold this pose for ages because I am actually working. So I'm also talking at the same time. Keep breathing through your nose. Just breathe the whole time. Maybe close down the eyes. Gain awareness of how the back feels when you're actually engaging it with correct posture. Chest open and proud. Maybe even very subtly lifting the chest towards the ceiling. And slowly come out of the pose. Really great. You can stay in that pose as long as you like, as long as it's comfortable. And these 3 poses, I mean, you can really do daily. Tadasana, Dandasana is something you could even practice several times during the day to really get the feeling through your back. But for now, we're done. Let's just bring hands to heart center, sitting cross-legged, and take a big inhale and then an exhale through the mouth together. And together we inhale to Om. Hands to the third eye. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you next time.